Welcome YouTube. This is Queen Zaire coming at you live. How you doing? Sorry, I'm not live. I always say that though. Anyway, cleansing the atmosphere with a little Palo Santos. I am answering a viewer's question. I am going to make sure that I am a little bit more prompt when you guys leave questions. But I have a question from Dequarius Gentry. And Dequarius Gentry wants to know, his question is, I want to know how to get into my ancestors. And so it would have been a long thing to write. So I decided to make a quick video about it. Hopefully it's a quick video. Alright. Sorry, trying to get my Palo Santos to stand up so it can continue to burn. Alright, so I would recommend all newbies to stop doing so much internet research and purchase some books. A book that I used is called Ancestor Paths, and it is by this person here. Back up so you can see the book. This is a really good book, and as you can see, mine is quite used because I used it. And look, when I went to open it today, look what I found inside my book. $2 bill, right? I forgot I even put that there. But anyway, I recommend you guys getting books and literature. It's not gonna always be a video that you can watch, and videos are kind of limited because people want to draw you in as an audience, and so they're not going to give you everything at one time. So I encourage you guys to get books. One of the first steps that I took was, which most people kind of do, in memorial of somebody, you'll see them pouring out water to their ancestors. One of the first things I would do is go outside and go in all four directions, face all four directions, and in each direction, so you have one parent that came from two parents, and then you have one parent that came from two parents. So it's like 4 people are inside of you, or 4 people's genetics poured inside to like create you. So you have a maternal mother and father, a grandmother and grandfather, and you also have a paternal, which is your father, grandmother, and grandfather. So what you would do is you would face north, and you would say, to my mother, my maternal ancestors, known and unknown. If you have specific ancestors on your mother's mom's side, you would say those there. Then you would turn to the next direction, which would probably be, if you're going clockwise, it will probably be east. So from east, you would go to my maternal's paternal side, so your mother's dad's side, my known and unknown ancestors. If you know any ancestors, you can name them there. You would continue to do the same thing for your dad's side, so you would be south. So you would say, for my paternal ancestors, known and unknown. Then you would name any if you know any of them. Then you would turn to the to the west, I'm sorry. And then you would do my paternal's maternal ancestors, known and unknown. That covers all the 4 streams of DNA that you have. So when you say unknown ancestors, that covers the ancestors that you may have never known. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the first human being, so it covers all of that. And before you turn to the next direction, pour water out. So you should pour water in all 4 spots: north, east, south, west. You should pour water in all 4 spots. If you got a compass on your phone, it helps to find where north is, and then you can go from there. That was one of the ways I first started. Some people light candles and pour water. It's all up to you. It's things that you can do that's not inside the book. Like, for an example, if you decide to feed your ancestors, you may do a ritual in the house, and you take that food to the nearest tree outside in your yard, and you place that food in honor of your ancestors, and you call your ancestors there. You don't have to light a candle. One guy that I followed, he said you can dig a hole in your yard under the tree and always put it in that hole, and they'll know where to go. I just think that's kind of, I don't think nature would, I don't know. I don't dig holes in my yard and leave them open. To me, that's a liability, because I don't live in my own space. Like, I live in an apartment, so I share property with people, so I don't do that. But if you share property with people, put it under a tree where cats and stray dogs can get to it, because the purpose of feeding your ancestors is you're actually feeding the earth and the things that earth created, which are animals. So it's okay. Once your ancestors done with it, they're gonna let the wildlife take it off. The ants are gonna eat it, cats, stray dogs, raccoons, squirrels. It's okay. It's designed to be that way, so be okay with that. But I always just go to a tree where I always see cats kind of nearby and leave it there. And sometimes I do it often enough. I go there and there's still stuff there. I don't even bother it. I lay my next offering down, call my ancestors, and walk away as well. So it's different things you can do to start getting to know your ancestors. The most thing that I would tell you is vital is the fact that you have to dedicate time to doing it, because it's not necessarily natural to, like, in our world, to deal with the dead and deal with spirits of deceased loved ones and things like that. So some people would say it's evil, but it's not necromancy, which is like dealing with just and dealing with just dead spirits, so you can conjure up dead people from graves. And dealing with ancestors is not the same thing. Ancestors are your first line of defense. They are the closest thing to you that is close to the Creator. So it's like a chain of command. So it's like you got your ancestors. Okay, so you got us, the humans, the ones you see. Then you got the next level, which would be your ancestors. Then above your ancestors is the Orishas. Above the Orishas would be, your gods and goddesses. Above them would be probably like, if you believe in a savior, he'll probably be there, or she will probably be there. And then it'll be the creator of all, the energy that created everything. So it's not really natural for us to do ancestor veneration and ancestor liberations and things like that. So I would recommend you, again, grabbing Ancestor Paths. This is a great book. Very, very good book. I think I got this book on Amazon. I can't remember what I paid for it. It says suggested retail price is $18.95, but I don't even know if I paid $18.95 for the book. I'm not really sure, but I'll zoom in so you can get the ISBN number. And I'm gonna make sure I invert the video so you can read it better when when I do the edit on the video. Sorry. This music in the background, I do not own the rights to this music. I don't know if I said that at the beginning of the video. I do not own the rights to this video, music. Hopefully that answered some of your questions. Some things you can do to kind of start. Again, spend time with your ancestors. Talk to them, but also listen in meditation form to your ancestors or messages from your ancestors. At first, you're not going to really hear much. You might feel things. But the more you do it, the more they're going to connect to you because they see you're actually interested. And it's just not a, hey, how you doing type of thing. So, usually our ancestors respond rather quickly because they've been kind of waiting on somebody, especially if this is not in your family. They've been kind of waiting on somebody to kind of, look out for them. So now that you are, they're going to come. You just have to be patient and listen and look for the signs. Some of those signs that I get are things that remind me of a particular ancestor, things that they might have said, occupations they may have, just, any type of memory that I have of them just out the blue to me is a connection that they're trying to connect with me. Sometimes the messages are loud and clear. Sometimes they are, thought-provoking. You may be in your thoughts and, you may think that an ancestor would say this, and it's probably because they are trying to tell you that. Let me see. I can't think of much and much other stuff, but you'll see signs, like I said, numbers, and maybe their birthday might pop up on the clock. One of your cousins might be talking about it, somebody that worked at their job, all kind of stuff. Anything that connects you to that ancestor, basically, to me, is a sign, especially, like I said, out the blue. You know what I'm saying? And then around that, look for other clues. So when you see, like, the birthday pop up and that's XYZ birthday, then you start looking for other things that may be attached to either the things that you've asked them about or other things that might be familiar to you with this ancestor. So look around, pay attention to your surroundings when you do see the signs, because usually within that sign, that sign popping up is other signs around. So definitely look at the signs, look for the signs, because they're going to be sending you signs, clues, and everything until you're at a state where they can actually talk to you in an audible sense, because it is where they can talk to you in an audible sense. I can remember one time I wanted to cook something for my ancestors, and I'm in the grocery store. It's so crazy because I'm in the grocery store looking crazy, to them I'm talking to myself, but in my mind I'm like talking to them. So I'm in the grocery store in the meat section, and I'm like, I wonder what I want to get my ancestors, what I want to cook for my ancestors for dinner tonight. And so all of a sudden I'm walking through the grocery store and I pass the pork chops. Now, I don't eat pork. I don't cook pork for myself or anything. So I'm like, nah, I don't, I know my ancestor in particular, my dad is a fan of pork chops. So I'm in the grocery store looking at the pork chops like, nah, I don't want to be cooking no pork in my house. And my dad was like, I want some of them pork chops. I don't care nothing about what you don't eat. That's what I like. So that's what I kind of heard in my mind. So I was like, well, let me grab these damn pork chops. So I wound up grabbing them pork chops, and my dad liked fried pork chops. So I done fried them damn pork chops up, had my house stinking of the pork. I mean, ugh, man. So I set the table, my ritual table, my altar. I put the plate, plated it real nice, and put it up there, and lit my candle, and poured up some water and all of this good stuff for my ancestors. And I mean, I'm sure they probably tore that shit up, but I wound up giving them all the pork chops. I bought a small pack of pork chops. I think 4 came in there. I cooked all 4 of them and gave it to them. And I knew they had liked it because the flame of the candle, was so high, bright, and vibrant. It was like, wow. And so I knew, that they were happy with it. Besides that, you know what I'm saying, I had some other clues that they were pleased with that particular dinner in which I cooked for them. And if you do decide to cook for your ancestors, and all of this is off the fly and you don't have the book, do not use salt. Do not season it with salt at all. salt will keep your ancestors from your food. Now, if you're going to cook them a meal that you going to eat, I would suggest that you add your salt after you've taken your ancestors' portion out, if you want to add it to the pot. Or you could just add it to the plate. But your plate, not the ancestors' plate. So keep salt away from your ancestors' food, and you should be fine. When you get done with the ritual of serving them in your home, you can take it outside. You want your ancestors to be comfortable in your home, because they will protect your home. They will bless your home, and they will protect your home. So you want to establish a ritual or a place for your ancestors inside your home, so they'll have a place to go. And this is always good to have ancestors in your home, because you don't have to worry about people breaking in your home. You don't have to worry about, you know, all kind of craziness going on at your house. You know what I mean? So, especially this day and age with all the craziness going on. So, always have your ancestors. Now, let me tell you the type of ancestors you would like to work with, especially in your home. You would want to work with one that was either in law enforcement or military for protection. If you had any ancestors that were nurses, that's good for health. If you had any ancestors that was good doctors and things like that, pharmacists, that's always good for health. Love, if you had an ancestor that had a good marriage or a happy life, that. If you had an ancestor that was a business owner, had a successful business, or had a great occupation, things like that, use those ancestors. If you are not religious, I would not suggest you use people that are pastors and things like that. Now, the twofold to that with my life is my dad, as much as I love him, he was a pastor. And so, you know, we had to have a discussion about the things that, and you know, death, once they realize they have died, a lot of the religious undertones that most people have, especially Christians, are kind of gone, because they kind of have seen life full circle, and so they're able to correct the bad or the wrong perceptions and things like that most of the time, unless they just were punished for or made to be stuck because of maybe some things that they did, and that's a part of their karmatic debt. Not so much a punishment, but anyway, it's just so much with ancestors. I really can't just think of everything like in order, because like I'm making this video on the fly. Like I just woke up. Well, I ain't gonna say I just woke up, but I'm still in my night clothes, you know, trying to get my mind right. And I had this video kind of hanging over my head, so I wanted to knock it out, because I want to be able to be more responsive to your questions, because I actually appreciate all of you guys' questions, and I think that this was a good question. Again, I recommend you getting books. Now, there are other books about ancestors, but I didn't get those books. I got turned on to that book first, and it was the biggest game changer for me. It kind of anchored me away from religion into spirituality. This kind of debunks a lot of the Christian philosophy of, you know, ancestors. And like I said, it's written by a chick. I think she's Muslim. If you see the picture, she got her head covered up. I think she might have came from out of being a Muslim or something. I'm not quite sure, but it's a really good book, and it got pictures in it and stuff, so you know, it tells you, it's a step-by-step guide, so you really can't go wrong with it. This is the second edition. And, it got prayers in here. It got recipes for floor washes. It has pictures in it. You know, the pictures aren't the best, but you know, it has diagrams. It has prayers and psalms and stuff. It has prayers for all kind of stuff. It tells you about the different divinations, what's next. It's really a good book. It talks about voodoo in here. So I really suggest that you we got a little glossary back there. So it's like I said, it's a really good book. I suggest you get it. You know, it talks about Orishas. If you see Obatala, you know, so that lets you know. Talks about a lot of good things. So I would just get the book. It's a really good book. And again, let's see. Yeah, got some different things in here. I'm trying to see. This is one of the first times I'm doing a book review. Well, not really a book review, but letting people see some of the books I got. So this is actually dope book. Get this. Some other ways you can communicate with ancestors if you have tarot cards. You know, you can ask your ancestors to send you messages using your tarot cards. They are good for that as well. There's different ways you can do that. You can look that up on the internet as well. So I hope this answers all of your questions. If you have any more questions, you guys just, you know, comment on the video. And as I get the comments, I'll be making videos in my spare time to answer these questions. Hope you like this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace out.